Okay, so yesterday on lesson 2.5, the last thing we did was we added this link line of code. Now that is different than an anchor, okay? An anchor is a hyperlink. If we want to link a word, let's say that we want to add code that says, click here to look at the Rockville High School athletic page, okay? And we would have the word here maybe set as a hyperlink. I'm reviewing 2.5. We're about to start 3.1. Okay. That would be an anchor. That would be an A tag. It would have an href attribute, and you would have your closing anchor. Okay. This one is a different kind of link. All right. We use the tag link. It has two attributes. Normally the relationship is always a style sheet, okay? And then the href is going to be which CSS page you are linking to. Now this is a CSS page that Code Avengers gave us. There are lots of different profile pages. I like pink, but this is a little bit busy. I might change that later. I'm going to leave it for time's sake right now. But I'm not sure how far you can go up with this number, but play around with the numbers and you'll get different colors, you'll get different formats. So play around with that cover. And that was the last thing we did, color, I'm sorry. That's the last thing we did yesterday, okay? All right, so I'm gonna hit next. And this is where we're gonna start today. Yeah. Okay? All right, so those of you, again, if you are doing this with me, we are on 3.1. All right. Okay, so lesson index. We have a little pop-up box here that says you can click those three little dots, and that's right here. It's right to the left of the word lesson, to show you a list of all the lessons in that course. Click outside the lesson box to hide it. All right, so we're going to hit next. Notepad, click notes to write notes that you want to save for later. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever had any students use those notes. I've never used it, but it's there if you want to. Click toolbox to show a list of links to useful tools and web pages such as the Google Style Guide. Okay, so that's right. Well, I guess it's not going to let me click on that to open it up while this box is open. So now I should be able to. So when you click on those three little dots there, there's the reference guide. There's the tools that it was talking about. Here's the notes that you're talking about. Remember, there's a place in there somewhere, thank you, to ask questions. Those questions come to me. They don't go to Code Avengers. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this lesson. This lesson is named Wrong End Tag. It says it's easy. You can bring your pass up here, Felix. It's easy to make mistakes when you type code. Mistakes in code are often called bugs. And there's lots, thank you. There's lots of different types of bugs. We kind of have syntax errors.
Okay. I need the wrong one.
Oh, okay. It says some mistakes don't really change the way our page looks, but some mistakes make it look very, very different. Okay. Each task in this lesson has two bugs for you to fix. So they're going to tell us which line is on, and we just got to figure it out. So those of you that are doing this with me, I'm going to kind of rely on you to kind of tell me where these bugs are. Okay. You can also kind of see where the X is. If you hover over that X, it says end tag H3 is seen too early. It expected another end tag. So lots of times the little thing that pops up will give you a hint on what you've missed. All right. So number one says fix the incorrect heading end tag on line 5. This bug does not affect how the page looks. Okay. Because I still have my H1 over there. The one that says common bugs. It still works good, but this end tag is wrong. What should this end tag be here? A 1. So we're going to change the 3 to a 1. All right. The little X goes away. Number 2, add the missing strong end tag to the end of line 8. This bug incorrectly makes the text on line 10 bold as well. So let's look at that. So the only one that's supposed to be bold is this one that says this text is bold. The second line says this text should not be bold, but it's still bold because we never turned the bold off, so to speak, because we never added the end tag for strong at the end of that line. Okay, does that make sense? So because we never ended it, we opened it up here. So everything after that strong tag is going to be bold. So if we go and end that tag here, we end it with the angle bracket / type strong. Now, if you look over there at your phone, the only thing that's going to be bold is going to be the sentence that says this text is bold. The sentence up under it that says this text should not be bold is not bold any longer. Okay? Questions about that one? Okay. All right, so let's check this one. And it tells me lesson 3.1 is complete. Oh, it's staying there for a little bit longer today. You know how mine's been kind of flashing? So that's the way it should stay. It should stay there until you hit the next button. Because that way, like if I got something wrong, I need to be able to see what I got wrong. So I'm glad Code Avengers fixed that, hopefully. All right, so I'm going to hit next. All right, so like I said, this whole lesson is just fixing bugs. So here, it says missing slashes. So you can kind of assume that's what's going to be wrong with these tags. The / closes tags and needs to be included in the end tag. And they give you an example right here where I've got strong. That's my open tag. That's my close tag. Close tag has that / in there. Okay. All right, so it says the code is missing 2 / which has made everything disappear. Fix the first bug and then fix the second bug. So if you see, I've got code here, but nothing is showing up on my page. So remember how they said some of the errors change the way your page looks, some of them doesn't. This is obviously one that does. Okay, so it says fix the first bug. Now this time they don't tell us where it is. They don't tell us which specific line has the bug. So let me open this really big, and I'm going to rely on you guys to tell me where the mistakes are. So somebody tell me where's one missing / in title. Yes, ma'am. And McKinley, where's the other one? H1. Which H1? Second one. Second H1. Okay, so easy. All right. If you've got 2 tags, you know that say the same thing. You know one of them's got to be the open, the other one's got to be the closing one. The closing one always has to have that / in there. Okay, so easy enough. Did everybody doing that with me? You saw where I added those 2? Sometimes I can tend to get going fast. So if I go too fast and you're like, whoa, 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 I found one of them, but I'm still trying to find that second one. Okay. Just stop me. Hand up. Say, Ms. Tompkins, whoa. All right. So 3.2 is complete. All right, 3.3. Spelling is very important. Your code will not work properly if you do not type the tag correctly. So misspelled tags will often result, or will, I shouldn't say often, it will result in there being an error on the page. Spelling mistakes have added some wrong tags. We got 2 bugs here. So when we're going to look over here at our code, and y'all remember that I told you yesterday, if Code Avengers ever gives you something to type, like if they say, you know, add the following text in a heading, make sure you spell it and capitalize it exactly the way Code Avengers tells you. If Code Avengers has a period in between the 2 quotes that's supposed to be in your text, add the period or it will mark it wrong. Okay, so we've got some misspelled tags. We got 2. I see both. Somebody tell me where they are. Yeah, the break is misspelled. They've got a DR instead of a BR. So we're going to fix line 7 We're gonna change that to a BR, and we're gonna fix line 9. That's a BR. Now, I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite parts about coding is troubleshooting. I love it when students get their code all kind of messed up and they bring it to me and they're like, something's wrong. It's like a mystery. I love finding where that code is messed up and fixing it, okay? I would love to do that as a job, but I would probably be sitting in a cubicle all by myself, and I don't want that. I can't deal with just myself all day. Okay, so now we should be able to check that. It tells us it's complete. Oh, how I love that that thing is staying. And then we're going to go next. Okay, using the backslash. Be careful not to get the forward slash and the backslash mixed up. There are going to be some times that we use that backslash, but most of the times we use the forward slash. Okay. All right. So it says fix. Okay. So we got 2 bugs and they do not give us any big clues. Let me look at it. Yeah. Both places they use the backslash instead of a forward slash. So this really kind of should be easy. So just look for the backslashes. Somebody tell me the lines that they're on. 3 and 5. Yep. So this is my ending tag. That should be a forward slash. And that should be a forward slash. Okay. So when you guys are running your code, and let's say your code doesn't work well, I'm gonna ask you that not to raise your hand. Don't let that be the first thing that you run to. Ask me. Kind of get good at finding these errors. That's a really good skill to have to be able to troubleshoot your own code. So look at your code. Look at some of these common mistakes. Look for a tag that might be misspelled. Look for a tag that might not have a forward slash. You know what the #1 mistake that students make in this class, and really all my programming classes, those angle brackets, okay? Students will forget to have one of the closing angle brackets or one of the open angle brackets, or they put an attribute for a tag on the outside of the angle bracket instead of the inside of the angle bracket. So those angle brackets to me are the one of the most common mistakes that students make. All right, so I'm going to check this. It's going to tell me that I'm right. I'm going to go to the next. Okay, deleting code accidentally. Accidentally deleting characters in HTML code can cause big problems. So we got 2 mistakes. This time they are going to tell us where they are. So on line 2 and line 3, okay, and this is the one that I was just talking about, okay? So line 2 and line 3 have mistakes. What's wrong on lines 2 and 3? A little angle bracket, okay? Okay, yep. See how everything is red? Lots of times everything will turn red if you forget what Kaylee said, the quotation mark, okay?
Red, that means something wrong.
That means something's wrong if everything is turned wrong. Can somebody tell me the only values that are supposed to be red? Can anybody tell me the only values on your code in this particular Code Avengers editor? Now, not on all of them, because my programming students, they kill me because they change their coloring, the features of their code editor. So things that are supposed to be red or purple, and you know, I can't tell. But in this class, we're not gonna change any colors. And everything should be red that is a what? Say that again. Everything that's within quotation marks, but what's always in quotation marks? You're right, Kaylee. I'm just pushing it a little bit further to make you think. Yes, Kaylee. Not exactly a link. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay. Does anybody remember what's always green? What's always green? What's always blue? What's always blue? Tags. Tags are always blue. So like your paragraph tag, your anchor tag, your link tag, your H1 tag, that should be blue, okay? Attributes for a tag should always be green. The value for an attribute should always be red and should be inside quotation marks like Kaylee said, okay? So this one is correct. So I got my tag, I got my tag correct. I got my relationship attribute, which is REL, that's correct. I got my equal sign. My value, this is where we've gone wrong here, okay? So like Kaylee said, right there at the end of CSS, there should be a closing quotation. Look what happened. As soon as I put that quotation mark, everything turns the right color. But am I wrong? Am I finished correcting this line? No. What else do I need? Angle bracket. Okay. Good job, y'all. Okay. All right, now let's look at line 3. What am I missing there? An angle bracket. I promise y'all, if you get really good with understanding all the parts of these tags, these elements, you are going to do fine in this class, okay? Because it's just kind of like in an English class when you're writing an essay. If you know when to put a period and know when to put a question mark and know when to use parentheses in math classes, you're understanding the syntax. And that's one of the biggest things in programming, okay? All right, so we're going to check this. And it tells us we're right. And if you ever want to play those little bonus games, if you're doing these on your own, that's fine. You don't really get any points, but it gives you a break for a couple of minutes. But I'm just going to pass those. So I'm going to hit next. And now we're on lesson 4. Okay. All right, lesson 4. Now we did a little bit of this in HTML, but we're going to do lots more parts to the image tag. Okay. The last time we did images, we did the IMG tag. Okay. We did the SRC attribute. Remember, attributes are green. We did the SRC value, which is the image address. When we go to the website, we find a picture, we open up the thumbnail image so that it's really large. We right click, we choose copy image address. Okay. And then we paste it there for the SRC. What was another attribute we learned to use with the SRC, with the image tag? Does anybody remember another attribute we used? How did we control what size the image was? Does that help you? What did we use? Width, okay. I think height was in there too when we did the iframes, but usually with images, if you change the width, it automatically changes the height. So that's 2 attributes that we have used, okay? And that's what this lesson tells you a little bit more. The image tag has an attribute called SRC, which is short for source, which tells the browser what image to show, okay? The example page shows a photo that's stored in the images folder on the Coded Avengers website. So I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to give us the picture for this, okay? All right, so it says on line 5, below your H1. So find the line of code that says my profile. All right, you're going to click there on line 6. And we're going to add the image code from the instructions to your page. So actually, we're going to go back up here in the instructions. I think if we click on, you can just click on that little rectangle one time. It copies the whole line of code to the clipboard. And then you can paste it up under line 5. Okay, so there's an avatar picture. There are lots of avatars. Okay. And I think it will tell us, try changing the number from 1 to 16. So there are 16, whoops, I didn't mean to open up my inspect. There are 16 different avatars. So if you guys will find one that you like, I always like the one with the little angel wings. I don't remember which one she is. 14. I'm going to go straight to 14. Nope. It's not my 14. Yep. Is it 14 on yours? 6. Yeah, I like her. She looks like she would be a cool person to hang out with. So I'm gonna use that avatar. You use any of them that you want to. Yes. Did you come up here so you could see the board better? Okay. You wanna try one in between? Okay. I just want you to be okay. All right, so everybody find an avatar that they like. Okay, that's all we did on that one. Okay, now I'm going to divide these lines of code up just a little bit. I like having blank lines between my sections. It doesn't change anything on my display. It just helps me troubleshoot my code better. So it also helps me troubleshoot your code better. So if you guys will get into a habit, these three, I just kind of clump them together because they're usually always your top three. There's some other things we'll learn later to put up there in that section. And then I've got a blank line before my main heading, a blank line before my image. These, I kind of group them together because that's all this section here, okay? So kind of spread out your code a little bit because it really honestly does make it a lot easier when I come to your seat and help you troubleshoot your code, okay? All right, so I'm going to check this. I'm going to go to next. All right, example page. We've used this example page before. It says after you complete each task, it's a good idea to click example and check that the layout of your code is similar to the example page. This will help you put things in the right spot. Like if they tell you to add a logo somewhere or a picture or a video, make sure you added it in the right location. And you can do that by clicking on the example page. So we can look at the example page. This person's avatar is between profile and here. Click my page and it's between my profile and my name. Okay? All right. Excuse me. Height and width attributes. Okay? It's an attribute. So what color is it going to be when we add it to our code editor? Attributes are green. Okay? Tags are blue. Attribute values are red, okay? And if you remember that, if something isn't the right color, you'll say, okay, let me stop because something is going awry and I've messed up, okay? All right, you can change the size of an image using the width and the height attributes inside the image tag, which means it goes somewhere in here after the image tag and before that closing angle bracket. It doesn't matter where you put it, as long as it's one space, as long as it has a space before it. In other words, I could go right there and press the space bar and add my width attribute, or I can go right here after my G, press the space bar and add my width attribute there. As long as it's between the G and the closing angle bracket, it is fine with me. I tend to kind of stack mine in front. So I usually kind of put mine, if I add a new attribute, I do it right after the tag, okay? All right, so it says the following code was used to resize the image on the example page. So we could take their 310. It says this code resizes the image to 310 pixels wide. The height that's automatically adjusted so that the image stays in proportion. You have this thing called aspect ratio, and that's the ratio of the width to the height. And Code Avengers does that for us if we set the width. So I'm going to set the width to 310. Please make sure you put that 310 inside quotes. HTML5 will let you get away with putting those width numbers in without using those quotes, but it is not a good habit to get in because you'll get used to typing the equal sign and then an attribute value without the quotes, and you're just going to run into problems on every situation except for a number. So get in the habit, after the equal sign, always put a set of quotation marks. Okay, so now there's my image. I should be good. Nothing else to do, so I'm going to click check. Ah, it flashed fast in them. I don't know what's up with that. It's saying that it was complete. Okay. All right, so I'm going to hit next. All right, 4.3, title attribute. Now we work with this in HTML0. Y'all good back there, Daniel? Innovation, been waiting for a second? Okay, I'll stop for a second. If you need me to come back there, y'all comparing each other's, y'all collaborating. Yeah. Let me know if you need help. Good? All right. Okay, the title attribute. We worked with this a little bit in HTML0. Okay, the title attribute is used to add. No, we did not. I take that back. We used the title tag. Excuse me. We have not used the title attribute. The title attribute is used to add a tooltip to images. Okay. I'm going to go on the example page. If I hover over this picture, see how that little tooltip pops up? Okay. Let me try it again. Now I'm on the example page. I'm not on my avatar. I'm on the example avatar. If I hover my mouse over it, a tooltip pops up that gives me some information about that image. The way that you do this is using a title attribute for the image tag. Okay, so this is the code for the image in the example. Now we don't want to put Nightblade stealth in the night unless you're using that picture. Okay, so come up with another title for your image. If you have a different avatar, like mine, I don't know if anywhere this is really called Angel Wings, but I kind of called her Angel Wings. So that's what I'm going to put in my title attribute. Okay. So at number 1 says add a tooltip to your profile image. Click on the phone screen and hover over your image for 2 seconds. A tooltip should appear.
Ms. Thompson,
Yes, ma'am.
will you send Alea Bell to the Welcome Center for dismissal, please?
I sure will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to pause this recording real quick. Okay. So this is down in the notes section, kind of the tip section under your task. So here it has the image tag, and it's got the source first, then the width, then the title. And then the second one has the title, then the source, then the width. The third one has the width, then the title, then the source. It does not matter what order you put those attributes in. What I want you to see is that every attribute has a blank space in front of it. So here, in front of the SRC, there's a blank line. In front of the width, there's a blank, not a blank line, I'm sorry, a blank space. In front of the title, there's a blank space. So as long as you have a space in front of the name of the attribute, it does not matter what order you put them in. Felix, are you good? You good? Yes. Okay. All right. I thought I heard something back there. I didn't know if something was happening. Okay. All right. So let's add our title. Now, again, I'm going to go in front of my previous attribute width. I'm going to click right there by my tag. I'm going to press the space bar. I'm going to put title equals. You have to have that equals in there. Okay. Then my quotation marks. Okay. There's my quotation marks. And then in between the quotation marks, whatever text you want to appear when you hover over your picture. It doesn't matter. Like you could say, this is my avatar. You could say, meet my avatar. Hello world, anything you want it to say. I'm going to put Angel Wings. Okay. All right. It just seems like an appropriate name. So now when I go over here to the phone and I hover my mouse over my avatar, my tooltip pops up. So test yours. Make sure it works. Before you hit that check, make sure that your tooltip pops up. And again, lots of times you can put tooltips on anything. You can put tooltips on pictures, on videos. You can put tooltips up here. Like if I wanted to give some information about my profile, like if I wanted my name to pop up when I hovered over my profile, you could go to here in that H1 and you could add a title attribute to it. Okay, so they're pretty cool little tools. All right. So let's check it. And mine's back to flashing real fast. It said 4.3 was correct. Anybody need me to pause for a second. Everybody good? Okay. All right, next. Okay, lesson 4.4, using images from other sites. We've done this before when we did HTML0. We went and went to the internet, found a picture that we wanted and put it onto our page. So we're going to do that again now. Says in task 1, you added an image tag that displays an image stored on the Code Avengers website. That's our avatar. To display an image from another website on your profile, you would need to set the image's SRC value to the full URL, which starts with HTTP. For example, the following code displays an image from a game that they created called Mouse Master. So you can see they use the image tag, they use the SRC attribute, and the value is that URL of where that picture is. Now, we're not going to use this picture. We're going to go get our own picture. Yes, sir. Yeah. Let me pause this for just a second. Okay, so like I said, we're not going to use this URL. We're going to go find a picture that we want. It says you need permission to use other people's images. 2 websites that have free images that you can use for any project are Unsplash and I guess that's pronounced Pixels. I don't know without having the E in there, but I'm going to pronounce it Pixels. So it tells us to visit Unsplash website or Pixels to find an image for your profile. It says such as a vehicle or gadget. Now I think what they mean as a gadget is just a tool. Okay, I automatically think of Inspector Gadget, but a vehicle, which would be like a car. We got to remember this company is in New Zealand. I don't know if you've noticed that some of the spellings for like theater and color, they use a kind of a different spelling than we do. But basically, you can go find a picture of anything you want to. Okay, you can use either Unsplash or that Pixels to use it. And then we're going to go through the steps to add the image. Let's actually, does it tell us where to put it? Profile, add the image tag, get the image, add a tooltip, under the image. Let's look and see where they, so they put it up under their avatar, okay? So what we've got to do is, on our page, I need to go under my avatar. So here's my avatar there. All right. So I'm going to make a line of code and I'm going to press enter a couple of times to get that blank line. All right. So the tag we use for images again is IMG. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to set it up so that when we go and find our picture, all we got to do is copy and paste the image address. So IMG space. And then our attribute source is SRC =, quotation mark, angle bracket. So on line 9, that is where you always start when you want to add a picture. Use the image tag, the SRC attribute, the =, and quotation mark. So you should see blue, green, and red on your line, whatever line it is. I don't know if it's your line 9. It's my line 9. Everybody good with that so far? You got all those parts. Now we can add other attributes, like we bring in the picture and the picture is way too large. We can use the width attribute to size it. We can add, what else have we learned? The title title attribute to add a tooltip. That's the only ones we've done so far. And later we're going to talk about one called alt. But I don't think we're there yet. Okay. All right. So everybody have that set up. All right. So I'm going to go open another tab and I'm going to go to the Unsplash one, unsplash.com. I think you can go to Google. I don't know if Code Avengers is going to know if we did something outside Unsplash or Pixel, but I'm just going to do Unsplash. Now it says a vehicle or a gadget. Gadget's like a tool. So anything you want to, any picture you want to find. I'm going to do a vehicle. Although I've been looking at the Broncos. The Broncos are kind of cool too. Now that's pretty. So I'm gonna find a car I like. Oh, it's pretty, isn't it? This reminds me, I went to, what's the name of that beach that I went to where you could drive on the beach? It was so cool. You had to have a certain pass and you had to deflate your tires a little bit. That was so cool. I had a friend that he had just bought a new truck and he let me drive it on the Jeep. Drive it on the beach. Oh, I was loving life. Okay, I think I'm gonna go up here and get this one. It really doesn't matter. Don't be too picky. All right, so I'm gonna click on this picture. It should open it full size because you always want to copy from the full size image. Lots of times those little thumbnail images gives you like 100 lines of code. We don't want that. So dang, that's a nice looking Jeep. All right, so I'm gonna come down to copy image address. Okay, so make sure you're selecting that one, copy image address. Everyone should be using Google Chrome, so that should be an option. Okay, now I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to my line of code. I'm going to take my cursor. I'm going to put my cursor right between those two quotation marks, and I'm going to paste in that Jeep. Okay, not too long. It's a few lines of code, but not too long. But Lord have mercy, look how big that picture is. I can't see anything. It's super huge. What attribute do we need to use to resize it? Width. Okay. So I'm going to go right here by my image tag. Between my image tag and my SRC attribute. And I'm going to add, back down here. I'm going to add, what in the world? This board plays games with me. Okay. I'll make it larger in just a minute when I spell it right. WIDTH equals. Now, I always say if you want to try to get a picture that's about 1 inch by 1 inch, start with 200. Whoops. Left off my
Tompkins,
Yes, ma'am.
will you say Catherine Vasquez to the Welcome Center for dismissal, please?
I sure will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You pause this recording. Okay, so I'm kind of okay with that. I might want to make it just a little bit larger. But for right now, I'm going to be okay with that. I'm not okay. And resume the recording. I think the only thing I added without the recording was this title. Because I think I had already added my width and my image. I think I already had that. I think I just left out adding a title for our image. You know what? No, I didn't. I forgot this part too. We added that after I forgot to start recording back. So under the picture, you're going to add a paragraph tag and a short description of what your picture is, and then you're going to add a break because that's going to put this text under the picture. So like if your text is right here by the picture, just add a break and it'll go down to the next line. Okay. I think that's all I forgot to mention in the recording. So I apologize. Those of you that are watching this, there'll be a little break in the flow. Okay. All right. So here, so let's do this one now. Okay. Everybody with me that's doing this? This will be the last one we do for the day, 4.5. All right. So it says that the W3 W3C rules say that all image tags should have an alt attribute. Alt stands for alternate text. Now, there's a couple of reasons why you do this, and they do a really good job of explaining it. It says the alternate text describes an image to search engines like Google. So, like if somebody was searching for an image, whatever the programmer put in the alt text, Google could use that. And it's also used for the visually impaired people who use screen readers. So if you've got a person who can't, they're visually challenged, and they're using a screen reader and it reads the page to them, when it gets down to where there's a picture, it will read whatever you as the programmer puts in the alt attribute. Okay, so make sure your alt attribute is really descriptive. For the image title, I might have the alt avatar with angel wings. So that when it got down to that, when it read my profile, then it would say avatar with angel wings. Then for my Jeep, for the alternate text, I might say Sahara Jeep or 2023 gray Sahara Jeep. So that when it got down to the picture, because that person may not be able to see the picture, but they can hear the screen reader read whatever is in the alternate text attribute. Okay, so it's going to tell us to add alt attribute with text to describe each of the images, and we have 2 images. So first I'm going to go to my avatar image. I got like 4 minutes. I'm going to get this in here. I'm going to go right beside of my G. Oops, so I don't know what happened there. I think that's because I had it highlighted. I'm going to go right beside the G. I'm going to press the space bar. I'm going to type ALT equals, and then I'm going to do a set of quotation marks. We'll come back and fill that in just a minute. Let me make this big. So go beside each of your images, type ALT equals, and then a set of quotation marks. And y'all know how I love to copy and paste. So I'm going to go down here to my other image, and I'm going to paste it in. So I'm setting up both of my images to have some alternate text there. So if there's a person that wants to read my website, but they can't see it, it's going to read to them whatever I put here. Okay. So for my avatar picture, I'm going to go back and click in those quotation marks. I'm going to put avatar with angel wings. So that's what the screen reader would read about this picture. And then for my Jeep, I don't know what year that Jeep was, but we're going to say it was a brand new one. So here I'm going to put 2023 gray Sahara Jeep. Okay, you want to be as descriptive as possible in your alternate attribute. Okay, because if a search engine wants to find this picture, me being specific, like a 2023 gray Sahara Jeep, if somebody's looking for that, then my website would pop up on any searches that they do for the 2023 Sahara Jeep. Okay. All right, so that's the only 2 things that we have to do for 4.5. So we should be able to check it. And it told me really quickly that it was right. And I could play the bonus game if I wanted to, but we got 2 minutes until the bell rings, so I'm not going to do that. Did everybody get this one to check correctly? Yes, anybody need me to come take a look at your code? I'm going to stop this recording.